6 months passed. For the first time in years, the galaxy knew peace, not complete peace. House Rain still existed. The war still simmered beneath the surface. Skirmishes still occurred. Assassins still vanished into the dark. Plots still unfolded behind closed doors. But compared to what had come before, it felt peaceful. And during that time, Reach transformed again. The marriage between House Reach and House Arcturus had exceeded every prediction. Not politically, personally. Selene had become something nobody expected. Beloved, not tolerated, not accepted. Beloved. The people of Reach genuinely adored her. Partly because she was kind, partly because she worked harder than most rulers ever would, but mostly because she kept her promises. The PTSD Recovery Initiative had expanded dramatically under her leadership. What began as a rehabilitation program became something far greater. Entire recovery cities emerged across Reach space. Veterans, former Eclipse contestants, widows, orphans, survivors, people carrying invisible wounds, all found somewhere to heal, and Selene personally involved herself in the process, every day, without fail. Many rulers would have delegated the work, not Selene. She sat in sessions, she spoke with families, she listened, sometimes for hours. The stories spread quickly. The queen who listened, the queen who remembered names, the queen who stayed long after everyone else left. The people noticed, and they loved her for it. Kenny noticed too, though he rarely said it aloud. One evening he stood overlooking a recovery garden watching Selene speak with an elderly veteran. The old soldier laughed, Selene laughed. The man cried, then laughed again. Kenny smiled. Darius appeared beside him. The older man folded his arms. You made the right choice. Kenny nodded. For once, he didn't argue. Elsewhere throughout Reach space, another promise continued unfolding. The military reforms. Every world under House Reach now operated under a unified combat doctrine. Not just professional soldiers, everyone. Voluntary programs, training academies, emergency response units, civil defense initiatives. People learned, prepared, improved. The philosophy spread quickly, not because they feared war, because they understood responsibility. If House Rain came, they would be ready. By the end of the 6th month, the Reach Alliance controlled 9 planets, a combined population approaching 1 trillion citizens. Just shy. Close enough that the analysts regularly debated which number to use. The industrial output dwarfed most galactic powers. The military continued expanding. The academies flourished. The fleets multiplied. The galaxy noticed. So did House Rain. And that was precisely why Kenny finally decided it was time. Not for another skirmish. Not another response, not another defensive action, an attack, the first true offensive of the war, the beginning, the real beginning. The chapter shifted to the present. Inside Reach Command, the War Council sat assembled, the largest gathering since the Emperor's assassination attempt. Holographic maps filled the chamber, fleet positions, supply routes, military strengths, planetary defenses. Every detail floated above the central table. Kenny stood at the head, Selene beside him, Darius opposite, Pines and Lyra nearby. The atmosphere felt different, focused, purposeful. Nobody joked, nobody wasted words. This wasn't planning, this was history. Darius activated a planetary image. A world appeared, mountainous, fortified, heavily industrialized. Thousands of military installations covered the surface. The uncle looked toward everyone. This is it. The room focused. The older man pointed toward the world. My world. Silence. Not Reach, not Arcturus, his old world. The one he'd won during Eclipse. The one he'd gifted to House Rain years ago. Back when he still believed in them. Back before Kenny. Back before the truth. The old warrior's expression darkened slightly. I know every mountain range. Another pause. Every military base, every blind spot. The image shifted. Defense grids appeared. Orbital platforms, underground facilities, training compounds. The room studied everything carefully. Darius pointed toward the largest structure on the map, the Academy Citadel. The holograms zoomed, massive, ancient, terrifying, the military heart of the world, 2 million soldiers. Silence. The numbers hung heavily. Not civilians, not support personnel, soldiers, professionals. House Rain's primary training world. The place where they created warriors, the place where they created killers, the place where they taught loyalty. Pines leaned forward. That's a lot of angry people. Nobody laughed. because he wasn't wrong. Celine folded her arms. If we take this world, another pause. We cripple their ability to train replacements. Darius nodded. Exactly. Lyra activated additional reports, supply projections, fleet readiness, casualty estimates. The room absorbed the information. Kenny remained silent throughout most of it, listening, watching, thinking. Eventually everyone looked toward him. The decision rested with one person, the ruler of Reach, the founder, the Eclipse champion. Kenny stared at the hologram, then finally spoke. We take it, no hesitation, no uncertainty. The room nodded, because everyone already knew. The planning shifted immediately. Fleet movements, landing zones, objectives, timelines, everything accelerated. Hours passed. The operation evolved, refined, strengthened, perfected. By the time the final briefing ended, everyone understood their role. The first major offensive of the war was ready. Outside, the fleets moved, quietly, efficiently, like a giant waking from sleep. Across 9 worlds, orders activated, ships departed, soldiers mobilized, transport fleets assembled. The largest military movement in Reach history began. 5 million troops, not conscripts, not militia. 5 million trained personnel, supported by thousands of ships. Thousands. The scale dwarfed anything Kenny had ever commanded before. Hours later, the final fleet emerged from hyperspace. Silently, the stars returned. And there it was, the target, Darius's former world, House Rain's training planet, the birthplace of countless soldiers, the cradle of their military doctrine. The fleets settled into position, one after another, an ocean of ships, enough to darken sections of orbit, enough to make history. Inside the flagship command deck, everyone watched. No speeches, no dramatic declarations, just anticipation. Kenny stood at the forward viewport, hands clasped behind his back, Celine beside him, Darius on the other side. The world filled the stars ahead, beautiful, unaware, for now. Pines slowly approached. The former Eclipse survivor stared through the glass, then whistled. 5 million. No one responded, because the number suddenly felt real. The silence stretched. The world turned slowly beneath them. Defense stations remained unaware. Patrol routes continued normally. The enemy had no idea what waited above, not yet. Kenny stared at the planet, the first real battlefield of the war, the first step toward ending House Rain, the first step toward justice, the first step toward revenge. And somewhere on that world, people were about to discover the war had finally arrived.